in. Yeah, okay. A very good evening, everyone. How is everyone? Morning. I think some coming from different part of the world. So I think it's great to have this webinar in conjunction with the Malaysia Blockchain Week that is held this week. I think today is the last day or tomorrow is the last day. So today we are very honored to have this Malaysia Internet of Things Association, ChangeMaker, Dual and Tricoli, and supported by iMaker based Shenzhen, China. I think we got Zoe there. Then we got from Philippines, MSU IIT. We got Ruby Coded, and of course KLESF. And most important, I'd like to thank our host here, Greenwave, Mr. Leong here, for providing us a nice, very nice meeting room here. In conjunction with the topic tonight, Malaysia Blockchain Week, the China perspective. And we have our speakers from all the way from China, Chance Zheng, if I got it correctly. Chance, thank you for coming.
Yeah, happy to be here.
He's attending the Malaysia Blockchain Week in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So we thought we put something together, with the support of our partners, our association members, and so on. This evening, some of you is morning, some of you afternoon. So we got various participants from different part of the world. China, we got, I think Japan coming in, we got Vietnam. Let me see who else. Who else? The name that I'm familiar. We got even from Malaysia who are based in No Huda. No Huda is from Malaysia, but she's currently in, I think, I'm not sure which part of China, but she's in China right now. So thanks for coming in. Okay, the agenda for this evening will be, I'll just do a brief opening, then I'll pass the floor to James. James is the chairman of Malaysia Internet of Things Association. I'm representing two hats, so I'm representing ChangeMaker. We have our ChangeMaker members here. We have some MyIOTA association members as well. And of course, our guests and all the participants around the world. I see more coming in right now as we let them into the meeting room. So the flow will be very simple. I'll just do a little bit introduction, and then James can share a little bit on MyIOTA. And then we go to the main event for this evening, So let me thanks again all our partners, to make this evening possible. I think we got more and more coming in now, which is nice. We didn't expect so many, but I think it's good to see everyone excited. Because blockchain is something very new to me also. Maybe some of you might be have more exposure into this area. I think James is quite well versed also. I think Stanley also very well versed into blockchain. So, but we will. If you have any question throughout the session, I will be the moderator for this evening. Do type in the what do you call that, the chat there. Do mute your mic just so that we don't have any interruption. Maybe during the Q&A, we'll allow the mic on. So we target about 1 hour or so or plus, for this evening session. As part of, if the response is good, we might consider doing like a little bit more frequent, either a monthly, and we will invite all our members, our partners to come in and share, what they are doing, what is emerging in their area, in their countries as well. So we are cut across, across the border. So there's no limit or just Malaysia. So basically, if you see tonight, a lot of people are coming in from different part of the world. Okay, without further ado, I will just have a brief. Maybe I share my screen. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, you may.
Sorry. Okay, let me see. Just give me 1 second. If you all can continue, put in where you are, you can introduce yourself, that would be great, so that everybody get a chance to mingle, get to know each other. Okay, let me just share my screen if I can get it here. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, good. So I'm representing tonight. I'll wear different hats. ChangeMaker, founder and president ChangeMaker. I also assist MyIOTA as the CSO. Okay. So I'll skip about my background. I think most of you know us already or know me a little bit. So formerly from government, 20 years with government. So currently doing retired, and I'm doing a little bit more freelance, helping out the community, the association, and be the eyes and ear for the government as well. Okay, so okay, ChangeMaker. James will cover the MyIOT shortly. Just a brief one. So basically, we want to be the leader, in advancing knowledge and sharing of STEMs or STEAM, and creating a sustainable ecosystem. So our mission is to to have the maker spirits of individual, all ages and background, to do innovation, to be creative and lifelong learning, bringing together academia, industry, association, government, tap across various emerging technology and across the ecosystem and across the country, around the world. So let's collaborate and innovate together. Some of our role in terms of from the ChangeMaker will be we promote Internet of Things, programming, 3D printing, drones, and robotic. More recent one will be like e-commerce, AI, and LLM, and blockchain is where we will try to share more. I think we are very lucky to have Chance Jiang here. Chance Jiang.
Yeah.
Jiang. Okay,
correct.
thank you. To be here with us today in this nice meeting room here. So thank you, Chance. And our objective is also to have like knowledge sharing. This is one of them. We do international trade show. We go, international mission. I think we have done quite a lot the last 6 months. Some to Korea, to China a lot. So hopefully we can do more to different part of the countries. Educational side visit, we do that. Placement of internship. Our members can open up opportunity for our members or students who wants to do internship, across the countries. Tech Talk, we link up with overseas ecosystem. I think that is where we differentiate from other association. We work across the border. Okay, here are some of our members from Malaysia, China, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Australia, and Cambodia as well. So those are some of our partners across the region. Some of our activities that we have done is, we have partners throughout Malaysia and across ASEAN as well. And now we are going to different part of the Asia. So these are some of our, I just show you some pictures of some of our activities like virtual reality hackathon, or engineering science fair. We do arts as well, a little bit arts. We have robotic challenge, we have drone challenge, we have VR. I participated quite a lot of international events like China ASEAN workshop, then the ASEAN Japan IoT conference. We do hackathon. Okay, ASEAN Hackathon is one of the more memorable projects that I've done when I was with the government. So in KLESF we have the Internet of Things event. So hopefully you all can join us, later on. Did the 5G Malaysia International Conference in 2020. This is probably one of our biggest conference on 5G, with the top-notch speakers around the world came and participated in the event. Lucky to be on TV for certain occasion. This is probably one of our first virtual reality hackathon in Malaysia, supported by a lot of university, a lot of industry, even from Singapore as well. This is our KL Engineering Science Fair. Hopefully you all can join us as well. Do get in touch. Doesn't stop here at this webinar. Do reach me after the event. We do robotic. We bring technology to rural areas as well. So that is some of our initial activities. Of course, IoT, is where I think I started doing IoT about 12, 13 years ago. Everybody was saying that it will not happen. But look around us, I think is there. It takes a little bit longer, but depending on countries, some countries has adopted well. I think Chance will probably share with us a little bit on the blockchain, IoT, and so on. All right. some of our strategic partner right here. Okay, more of our partners. Okay, I'd like to share with you. I got two more slides. Basically, the KL Engineering Science Fair is happening 8 to 10 November. So do reach out to us. I think it's we have about 50,000 visitors. So and a lot of exhibition. Targeting STEMs. So and also we have this HyperNet of Things coming on 27 to 28 November at World Trade Center. So we're looking for speakers. If you have ideas, do submit us or reach in touch with us or get in touch with us. What are the topics that you want to share? Or if you want to exhibit your product or solution or your partners, your friends, do inform them. Get in touch with us on IoT, blockchain, AI, anything with digital emerging technologies. I think it's relevant. This is probably one of the biggest Internet of Things event probably in Asia as well. Okay, I think that's all I have on my presentation for this evening. Okay, next, if you have any question, do put it on the chat so that we can address it at the Q&A session later. James, maybe I'd like to invite you to do the welcome. James, are you there, James? Yeah. Can mute yourself. We allow James to mute.
Sure.
The audio, yeah.
Okay, hi.
Okay,
hi,
James,
everyone.
you're
Hey,
on now. Yeah.
Hi, John. Thanks for inviting me for this session. I'm honored to give a few words. So basically, I'm the current chairman of Malaysia IoT Association. So this is actually our 8th year. We were founded way back in 2016. And MyIOTA is one of the largest IoT association in Malaysia, right? Our members are, again, behind me is all the logos our members are. So it is basically the whole IoT value chain, from companies providing connectivity, cloud service providers, to startups, to domain experts, and also we have government agencies and so forth. I think in terms of relationship between IoT and crypto or blockchain, right? I think you have heard of things like Helium. Basically, it's an IoT-driven type of project. And then actually another project that is well known is IOTA, right? There was actually a lot of promise on the integration part of IoT and blockchain technology. I think there's a lot of exciting things right now with AI as part of the scheme. So what I envision that in the future with the amalgamation of IoT, AI, 5G, cloud technologies, right? There'll be new creation of new businesses are created, new technologies and new economies. So again, I'm very interested to hear from Chance, right, about his thoughts on, again, are we coming to when would be the next 2 or 3 years, right, between the integration of IoT and blockchain. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Maybe I think we'll pass the floor to Chance.
Okay, thank you very much, James.
Thank you, James.
Like I said just now, we make it very informal. Do type in your question if you have as we go along. So I will moderate this session. Chance has suggested that we make it more fun, interactive. So we also hope that the participant online today, do ask questions. We try to address all the questions as much as possible. Maybe we'll keep away from 3R. Anything with 3R, we stay away from that. So let's make it a professional emerging technology sharing session. Okay. So without further ado, just like to welcome Chance to Malaysia. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoy the weather, the food, the people, the culture here. I think we managed to interact a few nights. So plus the conference we attended. The blockchain conference and have several meetings with some of the local partners. So Chance, maybe take a few seconds to introduce yourself before we go to the questions. Yep.
Thank you, John. Yeah, it's happy to be here, and it's amazing journey so far in the past few days. What's supposed to be a family trip turned out to be a business trip, but it's amazing. I was happily amazed and also intrigued by the ecosystem, not the culture, the food, the city, the vibe, and also the welcoming, ecosystem all the way from the MDEC official answering my challenging question from China during the conference, but also to different partner companies here, because I also happy and feeling blessed to have a strong partner like MyIOTA to help me quickly, set up my understanding on the tech scene in Malaysia. Yeah, my name is Chen Xiang. My Chinese name is Jiang Jiazhi. I've been a product manager. I've spent my first 10 years in academia in China, South China University of Technology. And my second 10 years is I spent them on building IoT startups. If any of you are familiar with the WeChat photo printing machine, that experience, that was my original design and invention. It became a hit by the end of 2012 when people scan a QR code on the screen and then instantly the photo will print it out. That was my first stop and it was a hit and success. And also with the blessing of the good timing of my back then my team. And yeah, I've been happy to really, I actually try over the past few years, right? I turned myself from an IoT product manager into like a Web3 designer, and because I learned a lot about tokenomics, learn about the phenomenon, we called it, I might use my old term, I would say the blockchain plus everything else, I would say it's the revolution of programmable money. So when we can program money, there are a lot of implications, right? Both good or bad, right? Or scammy or legitimate, right? All things happening. So it's such an exciting time to have these. Also we have also have these during last year, we have an explosive or like a pivotal point in human history of technology. It's an AI or large language model. So if you multiply all these factors together, we had an exciting time. But also we have a challenging time as well, as we will discuss later in the discussion on the geopolitics and also why we have such a new opportunity window open for neighbor country of China. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Chance. That's a very heavy, very impressive background. Let's go into a little bit more of exactly what we are trying to talk this evening. Chance, what is your general impression of the Malaysia Blockchain Week that you have visited the last 3-4 days? And what are the trends that you have seen, or how Web3, could play, play a role in Malaysia? Maybe can you share on that, please? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. To me, it's a really intensive learning session, right? Joining the Blockchain Week. Although I learned, I even wanted to write a book on how to evaluate crypto, the 3 rules for crypto evaluation. But still, I feel myself a really early stage student on the subject. And the whole week, I actually started the Blockchain Week with another community meetup called Off-Chain. So I also joined the Off-Chain Global Conference on July 30. So the Blockchain Week started by July 31, right? And also today. So the whole session, I met quite a few heavyweight VC builders of like myself on the Blockchain Week, and we also sense the general air, right, is really different from those in Hong Kong or other places, or even Singapore. I see a really like a down to earth spirit on the air, and also I also was amazed, right, at on our Off-Chain global conference. We also have like a co-hosting session between the MDEC officials who are directly working with the blockchain, innovators in the scene. And I threw a lot of these challenging questions to Malaysia government official, such as what is your stablecoin policy and what's going on and what's happening down the road with stablecoin policy, right? Things like that. Yeah. So the overall environment, and I also along the way I also heard listen to conversation of one of your renewable energy officer. Her name is Miss Yang Mei Ling, right? So Miss Yang, she shared a lot of these insight into the upcoming important role of Malaysia tech sector. which is hosting maybe probably the world's most important data center and with a partnership with Singaporean and also the global capital, right? The global investors and especially the GPU cloud, right? So these are really, really critical infrastructure that drive human, digital economy down the road, maybe the next 10 years or even the next decades. So all these events actually trigger me to think deep into what's upcoming, right, for Malaysia, and what's upcoming for what are the time, what does this time window mean for all the participants in the tech scene in Malaysia? Yeah. So that's my general impression. Back to you, John.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, it's very interesting to hear that. Maybe let's shift a little bit to China. What is your view on China owns Web3 or blockchain, status quo, quote unquote, maybe can you share a little bit where things are and so on? Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, as anyone who, the general impression is like, yeah, China is not that good for crypto and also Web3, but the ground truth is not exactly what you imagine. In China, we had a polarized policy. China government had a polarized policy on crypto or blockchain technology. If you do legitimate, like a blockchain research and the application part, and that China government even give you funding, right, to encourage you to do research. It's legal, but where what a rule of thumb to draw the line, right, between what is legal and what is illegal is like this. If you are dealing with anything that directly encouraging, China RMB exchanges with crypto token, that is not legal. So that's a simple rule of thumb to determine what kind of business that you are doing related to crypto and blockchain, and also the China legal compliance, right? So just make sure that you are not publicly selling any token or Bitcoin or whatever, right? Yeah. But things may change, right? Given China also have another important city, which is Hong Kong, to do sandboxing on all these interesting new development on crypto. For example, stablecoin, Hong Kong's dollar stablecoin. All these are really interesting phenomena. And also there is one interesting dynamic between the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the central government is like, yeah, central government is more like more progressive than it seems to me. Central government is more progressive than Hong Kong. Simply because we really wanted to retain, right, a lot of these Web3 talents within China, like Hong Kong, right, so that more innovation on Web3 could happen within the border of China. That's for sure. That's what all these authorities would wish that could happen. But things, the reality on the ground may be different. So yeah, that's also the status quo. But I think that we have my personal view on the trending on the trend is like we're gonna have more possibility regarding how we do blockchain and also crypto innovation using Hong Kong. Yeah, back to you, John.
Okay, thank you. What are some of the new economic opportunity or trends in terms of IoT or blockchain that Malaysia and China tech companies can collaborate, and how best they can, do their collaboration and innovate together? Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite question to find. I cannot claim that I have the ultimate answer, but during the past few days, as I venture into these conference with John together, I thought a lot about what are the intersection between IoT and the infrastructure business, and also the phenomenon we call the programmable money, right? So to be because it's rare, right, to have this time window in human technology history and also in geopolitics that we have this opportunity to really think big, right, on what Malaysia tech sector should be playing. When we think about this digital infrastructure, a lot of these infrastructure increasingly they are depending on IoT technology to be monitored, to provision, right, to secure, right, but also if you factor in the programmable money factor, which is blockchain, right, the underlying technology is blockchain, we have the opportunity to do like financial arrangement for everything we build, right? So for example, like James just mentioned, right, we have also have a leading example in the industry like helium.com and all these tokenized infrastructure, right? So what does that mean, right? So if, for example, just I simply I'm using my product manager's mind to think through the possibility of the renewable energy, right? When we talk about renewable energy, I would say it's more like a tech intensive. When you talk about the operation of renewable energy, I would say it's more tech operation intensive than the traditional, electricity system, right? But it's a mandate, because I heard from Malaysia government officials say, renewable energy is going to play a big role in supporting the increasing and crazy demand for supplying the energy to the data centers. Yeah, and it also this area is also where I try to learn with my China partner, the tech consortium called DualMB, Foundation over the past few years, because they pioneered a new standard for DC power and optical system. So literally, DualMB is a new China-made standard to converge 48 direct voltage, wiring like power system with a 10 gigabyte optical system in one cable. So that drastically simplified the digital infrastructure for everything. So we can even imagine a whole city building on top of a solar panel. So with that technology standard, and what does that mean? If we have these technology, invented, tested, not in China, but maybe in Malaysia or in other C countries. So a lot of opportunity and a lot of windows are opening. Yeah, back to you, John.
Okay. Chance, what are the current inflow of China capital businesses and tech talent, especially these are very emerging technologies into Malaysia or Singapore or around the region? Where do you see like 5 to 10 years time in terms of this emerging technology? Yeah.
Yeah, also thanks to the sharing of the really open, topic discussion by MDEC official in Malaysia. I know that, between the border of Malaysia and Singapore, right, specifically the province of Johor, right, we're going to have a lot of these, build up of, digital infrastructure. And also, for reasons we all know, right, or in the past few years, we have lots and lots of inflow of capital from China and also to Singapore, or including Malaysia, right? So these influx of individual private capital is phenomenal, right? And what will people do with that amount of private capital inflow into Singapore, and also the spillover effect from Singapore to Malaysia, right? What does that mean? I mean, people and the investor, right, or the holder of such a wealth, right? They really need to think big, in terms of how to profit from those, existing capital. Not just in the sense that, yeah, you just do the traditional like a real estate, right, which will drive a lot of these housing pricing, up for a lot of people, may cause problem for a lot of these local, politics. And also we also need to factor in, the technology. I mean, given such an inflow of capital, I would say another chance is to look at, if we can help, with combination of China and Malaysia, talents, right? I think maybe the right talent who can help Malaysia to work with Malaysian entrepreneur to build the right, new sector will be even more critical and interesting, right? Not just the old money, right? We talk about technology, what are the new technology that are possible to be, owned, to be operated, and to be, keep innovating within the border of Malaysia. That's something that I personally really interested in as well. And one of them, as I see it, would be sustainable technology, including renewable energy stack, and even really new idea that I called it the virtual power plant. So virtual power plant, for your information, is the cutting edge of renewable energy research and application research. So when we talk about renewable energy, this kind of energy system is really different from the traditional electricity system where you have the centralized control. So for centralized control, it's relatively easier to design and build a software system to support such a system, right? Centralized, it's simpler. But for the distributed and renewable energy, that they are really distributed by nature. They are they are more complex. They are more reliant on the autonomous, like a power router or different kind of the power supply, and maybe power meter, all these IoT system to make sure that they are safe, make sure they are efficient, right, in terms of how electricity is generated, how energy is stored, and how they are being used, and how can we drive the cost down, right, for all these data center operations within the border of Malaysia. So these are all areas that I see that could have a potential, right? The inflow of capital, the talents, and also the new area that are least known, right, to the whole world. So that's the area that I really wanted to have more discussion with Malaysian entrepreneurs, especially the younger generations. Yeah, back to you, John.
Okay, thanks. Before I go and pick up some of the questions from the viewer here, so do type in a little bit more questions, so then I will pick and choose some of the good one or some that we can reply. So maybe before I go to the viewers' question, Chance, where do you see Malaysia Internet of Things Association or ChangeMakers can play a contributing role, to this new and historical trend and the shift in the supply chain, in this technology?
Yeah, I think it's a critical, time window, right, in human history, where we have China-US conflict and all these, friction in trade, and especially in the supply chain of technologies. And just I try to be neutral, right? I'm from China, but I try to be neutral just from a business and entrepreneurship perspective. Whenever we have such a big power, right, a conflict, then but human beings, our innovation will never stop. Right. Just imagine, we still have a lot of people under the poverty line. We still have a lot of 4 billion people who are not enjoying stable electricity, right? We have all these issues on Earth, right? So it's in our entrepreneur nature to keep innovating, to keep providing solution to more people, right? To alleviate their living standard, to help solve the common problem facing both government, the public and private sectors. So these are all the big issues, and also the challenges imposed by AI and all these tech innovation. So I think ChangeMaker and also MyIOTA will play a critical role in connecting the tech talents between Malaysia and China and maybe the rest of the world, right? So that we can keep doing our part by exposing interesting challenges, valuable problems, and also these we call usually in such a historical window, the best beneficiary of such a big power conflict is the proxy countries. So here in our audience today, I also have my particularly partner Javen Zheng, right? He once more than one time he mentioned to me, if we want to explore the more like a startup opportunity, it has to within the area that are neutral to all these big power conflicts. So Singapore being one of them, and Malaysia being one of them. So these are areas that I would see huge opportunity down the road, maybe the 5 or the next 10 years. So this is not just from a technology perspective. This is from a time and again, right, in human history, the geopolitics between the big guys. So these proxy countries are going to benefit more. And this is also the time window we can all tap into, whether you are Malaysia or Singaporean or Chinese, right? It's when and where we can apply our genius, our innovation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I will look at the chat. I'll pick up a few questions. I think one of them from Dr. Yong. What can we learn from blockchain trends in China beyond cryptocurrency and Bitcoin? I mean, a lot of people are very fear of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or didn't understand well. Maybe can you share a little bit on that, in terms of the trend? I think maybe some of you have mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah, appreciate the question, Dr. Yong. Yeah, so let's dissect your question into 2 parts, right? What can we learn from blockchain trends in China? That's the first part. And the second part, I will start from the second part, beyond crypto, Bitcoin. So what is beyond crypto and Bitcoin? So crypto and Bitcoin, on a narrow definition, it's all about money, all about short-term profit, right? But when we talk about beyond crypto and Bitcoin, it's the technology that by its very nature, it's neutral, right? When we talk about what is blockchain, it's a, it's a trust, it's a consensus technology. It's a database, not technology that can easily enable cross-organizational trust. So when we talk about organization, it can be either private sector or government branches, right? So in China, the lesson is like, yeah, we have a lot of these, incentives and, funds and grants to encourage, blockchain research, right, in the tech itself. But at the same time, we also impose really strict, policy on what can be done and what cannot be done within the China border. As we have seen, as a result of the really strict, on the crypto exchanges part, a lot of these exchanges and activities are driven out of China, right? That's one part of the story. But another part of the story is like a lot of these technologies and what is remaining in China border is like the innovation on the technology itself and on the integration part, and even on some of the development are actually happening within China, but the operation is outside China. As because the past few days, John also discovered the same phenomenon, right? So why in blockchain we so many companies we have these founders speaking Chinese accent in English? Well, in fact, all these Web3 staff, they are China founders, but they are kind of, started, built within China, even operated their engineering team within China, but the operation, the exposure is not within China. They are exposed to the international audience. So this is a really interesting phenomenon. This is something that we haven't, the whole world, would probably have a misunderstanding about. For example, even including the project that James, right, our chairman James mentioned, the Helium. I think Helium founding team, the China capital, the China founder are also the big part of a Helium founding team. Why? Because the first generation of Helium's devices support is a LoRaWAN routers. But who are building these LoRaWAN router? The Shenzhen builder, the Shenzhen or LoRaWAN router builders, right? They ship and sell the first tier of these Deepin project devices that supply to the Helium.com network. Now, I mean, when I saw LoRaWAN being the first tier of tested devices on the Helium network, I quickly reason and predict that Helium.com's ambition is not just limited to LoRaWAN networking. Back 3 years back, I predicted that they're going to do 5G. And turns out they did, right? So actually, what is the big deal with Helium.com is not exactly LoRaWAN, because it's just like a niche wireless protocol, right, for IoT. But what is the big money here? I would say it's the like a communication infrastructure, everything, not just the LoRaWAN, right, just for IoT, but 5G, but 5G by its very nature, right, it's a short range, right? It's everyone, anyone who familiar with the telco industry is like the typical problem with determining which part of the economy or city we should cover is a hard problem. But with blockchain and this tokenized ownership structure, we can help the community to decide on their own which area or which city we should cover with 5G first. So that's and also given Helium.com's early success, right, with the US telecom 5G market right now, I think they gain quite a bit inroad into the US market. That means this is a proven like a infrastructure layout model for like a self-organizing marketplace for the supply and demand for 5G network. So 5G, for your information, I mean, from my China experiences, I think the most demand is not from consumer 5G demand. The most demand for 5G is actually from enterprise, from autonomous driving car company, from manufacturers, from these industry who really need this wireless high bandwidth connectivity. So those are the areas that you can't just do the financial planning for such a telco network using the traditional model. Right? You need to be inventive in terms of what are the financial model, what are the infrastructure layout model for your infrastructure, such as a wireless network infrastructure. Back to you, John.
Okay, yeah, I kind of agree that 5G, I mean, it has to be on a commercial or enterprise level where there's a lot more opportunity there than more on the consumer level. Okay, all right, I think let me pick up another question from No Huda. No Huda, hi, how are you? It's good. I think she is based in currently in China. Thanks for coming in. Question is, can you provide more insights on the latest trend and innovation in LLMs and blockchain within China? And how does this development influence the global AI strategies?
Yeah, I love that question. Yeah. I actually answered the same question to a German VC, Betty. Let me repeat it again here. Yeah. I mean, the latest trend in China LLM is like China had a really smart strategy of developing LLM. Since we have first and foremost, everyone know, right? US have placed sanction on GPU purchase for China player, right? So everybody know this. But the China LLM platform, we have we have the first government licensed LLM platform already issued in China. They are operational, they are compliant, like codes, right? From the ByteDance, we have, Wenxin Yiyan from Baidu. We have all these big, tech giant offer their own, LLM platforms. It's legal, it's operated, it's operational. But also regarding the strategy, since China's digital services and digital service industry is well known, right, around the world, that we are really advanced, right? So for the average, users of digital services, you travel in China, you use WeChat, you use all these, really advanced digital services that you see, you can only see in China. So China has been a really, progressive country in terms of implementing digital services, like a facial scan for, riding a fast-speed train, right? You on board your high-speed rail. You don't need ticket, you don't need your passport. You only scan your face, and then you are on to the train, right? So these are China's unique strength and advantages. Like regarding AI, I would say it's the data set. So let me repeat, it's the data set. So why is the data set? Because we've been operating such a giant piece of a digital service across the more than 10 billion, more like 1.3 billion, population. So we generated tons and tons of data on a daily basis. So these are the China advantage in implementing AI application or decided to implement AI application. Because for those of you who need a little bit background on what is LLM, right? LLM is actually trained on the available and open data set on the internet, right? But what about the vertical, the industry's data set, right? So those data set are not, most of them are not open, right? But for country like China or population size of like China, we have tons of these vertical, data set. Those are closed, those are locked up. So those are data set that with tons of insights into human, action, into trade, into a lot of these behavior that China internet uses. So the strategy that China has adopting is like, yeah, we don't need to compete head on with the Silicon Valley counterpart. Like how many parameters you can build into your LLM and those parameters, we don't need to compete on that. But for sure, we only need to play the catch-up game, which is good enough. But in terms of the application, right, that's where we are good at, because we have all these vertical, deep data sets. Let me just give you one example. My friend, Joe, right, he operated, health information system in China for decades. And over the past 7 years, he invented an ultrasound scanner that is built on top of all these breast cancer, medical imagery on all the China, all the hospital. They have these, the breast cancer, medical imagery. He figured a way to anonymize the data and learn everything about China's, breast cancer patients. And he also combined, these learning, the AI with the ultrasound scanner. So the result is like he can produce a ultrasound scanner, can do really efficient early diagnosis of breast cancer. So that's one example, that China's big data can drive a really deep innovation in a vertical area, such as the cancer, diagnosis. So that's just one example. So, but LLM is just like for the general, intelligence, right? You train them on public data set, but for any LLM to work on a particular area, you actually need to use the vertical data set to train a LLM so that you can tune that LLM to actually produce a usable product for a specific category, not just a mass market product. So if you just take OpenAI or ChatGPT, such a generic AI out of the box, all you can imagine to do with them is just for the consumer uses, right? But those consumer uses is good, right? But they are for consumer. They are the consumer products. They are the consumer AI products. Yeah, the pricing model, the revenue model is different from the deep AI, such as the breast cancer diagnosis. So these are the differences between China AI and the and other part and the Western countries. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Chance. Can you share? I mean, I noticed that you have been doing quite a lot of sustainable tech sector in China for the past few years. Can you share with our audience, high level and overview of some of the sustainable tech sector?
Yeah, that's my favorite area over the past few years. I know, the founder of DualMB.org, Alan Yo. He worked with the biggest real estate, company in China, and he used to serve as the product and technology chief in their technology branch. Yeah, it's called Zhonghai Keji. So Alan Yo, he's the inventor of such idea, right? He is the to give you a short answer, right? I discovered the Elon Musk of China because I think that Alan Yo is the Elon Musk of China. Why? He has such a drastic different idea about humans' future than Elon Musk. Elon Musk said we wanted to be able to immigrate human being onto the Mars, right? But Alan Yo, he said, no, we are Chinese. We are agriculture civilization. Our Chinese civilization is from this agriculture background. We tend to make the best use of technology. It doesn't have to be high tech. So because he see all these crazy smart home system around China, because he's in charge of the biggest real estate, brand, tech company, tech branch. He over all his decades of research and experiences with all these crazy smart home system that presented before him, because he's the biggest buyer of such technology in China, and he grew increasingly disappointed because they're too complex. Every device has an OS system, right? All these systems are way too difficult to manage, and he came up with a drastically new ideas he called it DualMB. What it is it's a technology standard that combine direct current, 48 voltage direct current, and 10 gigabyte of optical cable. So he combined the two into one cable, and also combine the direct the power router and also the optical networking router into one router, and drastically simplify how we wire up our home. So he start treating one family, one home as one computer that is using only DC energy and also using optical system. So what does that mean? That means that we treat one home as a single computer, and you only use the DC power to sustain itself. That also means that we don't need AC power. So this went back to like 100 years debate between Tesla and also Thomas Edison, right? So Tesla said, the future of electricity AC. But Thomas Edison said that the electricity, the future of electricity is a DC. But that's the past 100 years, right? Human civilization, the urban lifestyle, everything is built on top of centralized electricity power. You generate the power from a few, power plant, and then you supply the power to cities, and the city then city form themselves, and then you have the centralized data system, right? But increasingly, he see a future of distributed energy and distributed data networking. So that's a future where I believe that are going to drastically help a lot of people under, the poverty line, help a lot of like the 4 billion people who are still suffering from unstable electricity supply, especially for those who are living in the African countries. So this is where I see the possibility, because this is one of such a renewable energy stack that I never imagined, right? So he totally get rid of AC power. He only say, yeah, in the future, we only need DC power because it's 48 voltage. Firstly, it's generated locally. It depends on solar panel. It depends on home battery, firstly. And if you have city grid, the city grid is just a backup. So if you imagine a city, right, you can build a city with only renewable energy and with all these, city grid, the big power plant as a supplement, not the major supply. What will our civilization of city look like? So what it's like to be, for example, do we really need to travel, right? The 1 hour to work, right? So all these questions are so fundamental. So I'm actually really intrigued by these inventions that are driven by China culture, Chinese culture. We really need to simplify our technology to a point where we don't need to be engineer everything, and that supposedly is going to drive the cost down to a point where we can massively, sustain the new cities, the new villages, the new cities, including new civilization.
Okay, thanks, Chance. I'll go back to the meeting room chats, and there's some very good question here from Irvin Wang. So how might China approach blockchain innovation evolve over the next 5 years, and what factors will drive the evolution, influencing international collaboration? And maybe I'll just add in the regulatory landscape, for blockchain to evolve. So two questions there.
Oh, that's my favorite question, because I answered this question not just, many times, because I engage in many Twitter Spaces discussion directly with US politicians, US innovators, US investors on Twitter Spaces. Yeah. So China's approach to blockchain innovation is because a lot of people in the past, right, they confused with China's strict regulation on, crypto exchanges with the innovation. But over the next 5 years, I would see, because China government is also smart enough to say, hey, if we really want to regulate crypto, the only area, the starting point of regulating crypto is stablecoin policy. Who has the legal position to produce and maintain and operate stablecoin? China's answer is really simple. Within China, it's only the central government, the People's Bank of China, the RMB CBDC team, right? Because that's China's policy stance. But China government is not ruling out other options. So that's why China government encouraged Hong Kong Monetary Authority to come up with their own, law and policy on stablecoin and allow them to do a lot of sandboxing and licensing. Yeah. So this is the only area that I see, because stablecoin is so important, right? When we talk about crypto, when we talk about programmable money, we need to circle back to a very fundamental idea of what is money. So money, to human being, there are 3 utility of money: storage of wealth, unit of account, and also medium of exchange. So whether you talk about gold, talk about silver, you talk about crypto money, fiat money, all this money human wanted if you want to put a unified framework to think about all the money, what they are for, right? There are only 3, right? Storage of wealth, unit of account, and also medium of exchange. But medium of exchange is the job of fiat money, and medium of exchange is also the job of stablecoin, right? So if you treat fiat money and stablecoin as the same thing, you can say, yeah, this area will be heavily regulated and should be, because all sovereign country, they have the innate, drive to control their fiat money. I would say, as a practitioner in Web3, we should respect that. We should embrace all these stablecoin policy first and foremost, right? So this is the area that any sovereign country should stay vigilant, including Malaysia. I mean, if Malaysia, if I'm in charge of Malaysian monetary policy over crypto, I would say the only job I would start is the stablecoin policy. We start with there, make sure that all the power are properly balanced, and make sure that our current financial system is stable so that we can keep doing our job as government. I mean, same thing, not just China, but other sovereign countries. Yeah, but only maybe some bigger countries like US, they are so, they already have dominant fiat. They can say, yeah, we can be more flexible, but are you really in a position to be that flexible, right? So it's all about, your sovereignty. I mean, being independent, being sovereign is the number one, thinking for deciding, crypto and all these factors. So what factors will drive the evolution? I would say, firstly, it should be the stablecoin policy. Once that's clear, once all our government system are feeling safe and confident to go forward, and once they make breakthrough in terms of their stablecoin policy, then the rest of the value between the old economy and the crypto economy, they will start exchanges value between each other in a proper, legal and also orderly way. So that's something that I would imagine that, I'm not just like a, crypto maximalist, right? I'm not a, just like, do the crypto innovation at the cost of, all this, everything regardless, right? I'm not young, I'm pretty old guy. So I really want to expect all all these established power so that everyone feels safe. But also at the same time, we also need to encourage innovation in the field. So in terms of international collaboration, I would say blockchain and programmable money will increasingly be used as a new factor to gain your international influence over trade, right? For example, if Malaysia figure out your own way of regulating blockchain and all these stablecoin, then I would predict that the policy will eventually play into the advantage of Malaysia. So you think of what Malaysia is really good at. So all the new crypto policies should just be designed and built around Malaysia's unique position. So this is something that I would imagine. For China, yeah, we have CBDC, but also we have China CBDC to work together with the current China foreign exchange policy as well. It's part of it. It's part of the deal, right, with the China, financial system. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we are still got a few minutes. Maybe like to ask you or seek your advice for audiences. What is your advice to young Malaysian entrepreneurs or startup, into IoT and blockchains?
Yeah, I love that question. I think, yeah, to be a little bit, shameless, I would say, yeah, just try to, pay more attention to MyIOTA, right? To pay, subscribe to our update, right, on Malaysia IoT Association, and so that we can keep, informing you of what is the latest between China, tech and also Malaysia tech. Yeah, and that second advice would be like, just look at the area where Malaysia is going to play that nobody else can, even including Singapore, they cannot play. Then look for those areas that, as a Malaysian tech entrepreneur, you can play the role in. Then figure out something for yourself. I don't have the answer, but I roughly have a little bit hint, right, regarding where to look at and where to to go, right. In terms of geography, I would say like Johor would be the hot area, right. Yeah, Johor, because it's the buffer, zone between, Malaysia and Singapore. And Singapore, they have a lot of these capital. But what is the capital for, right? They're not just, dead cash sitting in the bank, right? They need to invest. They need to, invest those capital into some certain area to generate new value for the whole, not just for Malaysia, but maybe it's for Malaysia to generate certain value for the rest of the world. It could be on the renewable energy side. It could be from AI, or could be from the operation intelligence of AI infrastructure side. So these are all really interesting question to ask. So suppose all these non-Malaysian tech company, they invest in AI infrastructure, data center in Malaysia. So what if this investment has nothing to do with young Malaysian entrepreneur? I don't think that will happen, right? Because our policymakers, including China, right, for whatever foreign investment into your homeland, you always look into way to help how to engage your younger tech entrepreneur to work with these, the innovator, right, from outside your country, and make sure that they can mix and match, and make sure the younger generation will have a shot to try something new. For example, like I'm just I'm just trying my product managers, crazy mind, maybe in the area of smart grid, right? Because used to be case we already had smart grid, but what if Malaysia can become the virtual power plant operator of the world, right? What if, right? Because obviously virtual power plant, it's not something new. It's invented in Silicon Valley, but who can have the best advantage to implement and validate and own the technology, right? Because I would say the country that can validate a certain piece of technology and use your own brand, do your original research to own and operate such a network. I would say Malaysia is one of such country. Yeah, because a virtual power plant, you need a lot of these factors to make it happen, right? But China is too big, and China is already a centralized, energy, country. Obviously, we have a lot of these resistance if you want to implement virtual power plant in China. Not possible. Africa, you lack too many things, right? So it could be the case that it's invented here, virtual power plant in Malaysia, and operated here, owned by Malaysia government, also by Malaysia entrepreneur. But you can popularize that technology to Africa, to Central America, to South America. And those inventions that, even including European country, North America, they don't have the incentive, right? Yeah, some countries, they have the resources, they have the money, but they don't have the incentive. Yeah. So this is just one example that I would like to share, the area that I would say only the Malaysian can do the best.
Thanks, Chance. I think we got one question from Thomas. I think we got, if you have any other question, just put it on the chat. We got just a few more minutes. Thomas' question was, is the technology available in the market commercially in China right now in terms of, I think, DC power, data to powerhouses using renewable energy, or is it?
Well, this is really interesting question. This is for DOMB, right? Because we, ChangeMaker is a partner, is a Malaysian partner of DOMB. I'm a core member of DOMB. So DOMB, for your information, we are shipping the DC home system starting March this year. We are already working with the a regional distributor called Hagens. So Hagens is the local brand of Ghana. So if Hagens is the local distributor of DOMB DC system to the country of Ghana, we are already shipping the whole stack of solar panel, home battery, and DC system with this partner from Ghana. But the challenge with the core team of DOMB currently is Alan, he's so busy with African markets, so he literally can't directly support C country market, North America market, or other markets. So whoever come along, whoever approach a ChangeMaker, we can help you to build up the understanding of the DOMB system and whether you can become a regional a technology licensee to build and sell DC system. And I personally are also in charge of the DC home appliances industry in China. I'm incubating, I'm advising, from the hometown Media Group, right? You probably heard of Media, right? Media is the largest home appliance maker in China, around the world. It's based in Shunde city near Guangzhou. So I'm advising a new generation of home appliance maker to how to simplify their design to make it DC appliances. So the beautiful part about DC appliances, like it's so movable, it's so adaptable to different situations, even including outdoor, including disaster situation. When you have a disaster, you can quickly ship these home appliances to the family who are hit by natural disaster. They had a home battery. They can just hook up their rice cooker to the home battery. Boom, their life is back to normal, right? With lighting, with rice cooker, right? So these are the benefit of DC system. Yeah. So to answer your question, right? DC power and data power houses, this is something that built and designed in China, but we are not popularizing it in China because China is not the right market. Firstly, for such a system, we actually designed and built it firstly for the African markets, but we don't have the capacity to cater for C market for now. At least for the next few years. So if anyone coming up to approach ChangeMaker, we can help you to bridge the gap, right? If you really wanted to tap into dual MB.
Okay, I think we just.
Hey John, I got a one last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think with quantum computers in the horizon, right? Once quantum computers become affordable, how would this really affect blockchain and cryptography in general? Because I think I look at it, quantum computers will make it very easy to do things like SHA 256. What's your thought on that, and what's the timeline on quantum computers?
If quantum computing ever become affordable, I would say the blockchain builder, they will naturally pick up, right? Because the blockchain builder themselves already have a really agile and adaptable financial incentive to implement any cryptography technology or anti-cryptography, because there is these premises that quantum computing with its compute power, they can break the cryptography, which is the foundation of any blockchain technologies, right? But just rest assured, right? For example, Solana. I mean, my favorite blockchain is Solana. But just imagine, right? If quantum computer become affordable, I would say, blockchain like Solana, they will quickly pick up, and then they will use like quantum computing, compute units to harden their basic, their fundamental, decryption and encryption, infrastructure for sure. So it's just like one. I mean, the ability to decrypt and encrypt is just one, factor for that impact, how blockchain is being, deployed and used. Yeah, but it's not all of it, right? Because nowadays the blockchain is all about proof of stake blockchain, right? You stake blockchain, you have all these incentive to secure such a distributed network. Yeah. Hope that answered your question, James.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we pick up one or two more questions. Anyone? You can unmute yourself. Maybe one or two questions. We just about to to the end of our program. I think it's very exciting to have chance here this evening in Malaysia. It's not easy to have this type of opportunity. Anyone? Maybe one more question. Anyone? Or you can type it into the chat there if you want. Anyone? Last call. It's a good chance here. I mean, to have chance in Malaysia with us this evening, morning for some of you. Anyone? If not, I don't see any question. Anyone? They can unmute themselves. Right?
Me. Yeah, they can unmute themselves.
Oh, okay. Jess is from Philippines. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Jess.
Jess, go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Hi, Chance. So, in your personal perspective, how do you see the blockchain, particularly Solana, penetrating the Malaysian market, and how is our market as compared to other regions?
I would say, the short answer is that, I'm actually about to write a book to, a framework to publicize my framework to teach the public on how to evaluate, crypto, right? To quote, I already have the book in my mind, but I try to explain that from the book in my mind, your question. When we talk about blockchain, right? When we talk about, the 3 rules of evaluating crypto, we have the storage of wealth, which is the strength of, Bitcoin network. And we have the medium of exchange utility, which is the domain of government and regulated, stablecoin. Then in the middle, we have the unit of account blockchain. So when I say unit of account blockchain, we talk about Ethereum, we talk about Solana, we talk about all these transaction intensive blockchains. So when we talk about transaction intensive blockchain, we talk about TPS, right? Transaction per second. So the reason I love Solana so much is that their founder from day one, they're really clear. The number 1 metric is TPS, transaction per second. And they focus on TPS. A lot of people are going to argue with me, I'm pretty sure. But if you talk about, my framework, right? My framework of evaluating crypto, when we talk about the unit of account blockchains, Polygram, right? All the other, all coin, they are all, unit of account blockchains. So how do these unit of account blockchain compete with each other? Only one thing, that's TPS. So when we think about a blockchain who can handle like 5,000 transactions per second versus 50,000 transactions per second, who is going to win, right? So Solana is such a blockchain who can handle like more than 50,000 transactions per second. But all the other blockchain, they're just like, 5,000, 6,000, even 10,000, TPS. So these are the core metrics, right? Because I know that Solana people, they are just, have the strong telco, system design, background, and they also have really bad example, like a downtime and all these drama in the past, but they recover really quickly. So Solana ecosystem is the most vibrant ecosystem I've seen. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Chance. I think we go with last question. I'll pick up on the chat here. I think Thomas is asking, is there any popular examples of how blockchain is used for facilities or building management? Maybe Chance, last one. Then we will do a group photo maybe, and then you sum up with maybe 1 minute,
To be honest, I don't have the answer yet. I would say it's probably will be the prime area for Malaysian staff to explore, right? So when we talk about real estate, property, and all these infrastructure management, I mean the formula here is like if within the next 5 years you have real estate booming, you have all the infrastructure roll out in Malaysia, it's maybe Malaysia is the best country to implement, the blockchain or tokenized, facility management system where you can put in, capable blockchain such as Solana to manage all the tokens, to do all these compliance, research or compliance, regulate services within the border of Malaysia. So that's the area that I would encourage, startups, Malaysia startups to keep exploring. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we are about time. I promised 10:30. I think some of you have to work, so we will not drag on too long. So stay on second. We're going to take a group photo. But before I let everyone go, I think I'd like to wish James. I think James' birthday is this week. This week, right, James? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, James.
So it's good coincide with his birthday. So I think can we have the your webcam on? We take a group photo for memory. I know it's quite late for some of you. Berlin, can you help snapshot? Okay. Can we have your mic on just for the album? Okay. Before don't leave first. I think some of you I know it's late. 10:30. Some early morning for some. Okay, we got everybody. Okay, can come closer to the mic and don't move. Let's take a snapshot. Let me know in Berlin if you got it ready. Okay, can we have Casey? Casey from Vietnam. Thank you for coming in. Dr. Yong there, Hudson, Alison Leong. We got Yvonne Kam, and then Shahidi, Nuro, No Huda, who is there. Okay. I think we got everybody, right? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, let's snapshot the move. Okay. Okay, we got it. Huh? Yes. Okay. Also, just 1 second, just to make sure. While waiting for that, I'd like to thank Chance for your precious time this evening. Bringing everybody. I think we got from various country joining the session. Hopefully, it has helped you a little bit. And the understanding of blockchain. But do keep in touch. We will have more webinar session in collaboration with different partners coming up soon. So just keep follow us on Facebook, social media, LinkedIn as well. Okay, James, you want to say something before we close it, or you can close it? Yep.
Yeah, I think thanks everyone for taking time. We'll work out more interesting topics hopefully in the near future.
Okay, thank you. So with that,
Right.
we will close the session. Do keep in touch. I mentioned just now. Let's collaborate and innovate together. Thank you very much, and have a good evening. And for those in the morning, have a good day.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining.
See you.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
see you.
Mute ready.